welcome to my Wednesday video. And this Wednesday I'm just going to be talking about the best books I read in February. This is going to be a pretty brief video because, like January, I actually didn't read a lot of books that I just really loved in February. There were a lot of 3-4 star books. I did read a lot of good books. There just weren't a lot of books that I thought were really great. But on a high note, I have finished a couple books recently that I thought were really fantastic, and those will be posting in March. So there will be at least a few books in March that I thought were really fantastic. So that being said, I'll go ahead and get into the 2 books that I read. I didn't even give these 5 stars. I gave them 4.5 stars, but they were the highest rated books I read in February. The first one, it should be no surprise because I'm kind of an Annette Marie fangirl. The Long Forgotten Winter King, which is the Guild Codex Unveiled Book 2, did come out in February, and I pretty much read it like right away. I think it actually came out late January, but I pretty much read it fairly quickly, and I really enjoyed it. It gives a ton of background on Zach, and there was some really cool like druid magic, and we find out a lot, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I did give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It didn't quite hit that 5-star mark because I just thought the plot was a little slow. But I still very much enjoyed it. And so if you are an Annette Marie fan and you've been enjoying the Guild Codex books, I would highly recommend it. If you're just an urban fantasy fan in general, I would recommend picking up some of the Guild Codex books. I did like Demonized a lot, and I'm enjoying the Unveiled subseries a lot. The Warped one, she co-writes with somebody. I really haven't been enjoying that one as much, but in general, they're very solid urban fantasy novels that are full of action, fast-paced, and fun to read, so I would recommend them. The second book that I ended up giving, I actually gave it 4 stars, and then I bumped up to 4.5 because I kept thinking about it a little bit more, and that is The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller. This one was a weird one. It's kind of set in a fantasy world, and it features a woman named Charm, who is a madam for a brothel, kind of. But the other women at the brothel she built them out of bones and given them life out of bones. And they are actually parts of her personality that she's pushed off into these other bone maidens. So she kind of like split her personality and pushed it into these bone maidens. So like all the women that work at this brothel are her, but different aspects of her. And it's really weird, and the whole thing involves a kingdom that's being ruled by an emperor, and Charm is like the lover to the emperor. And when the emperor dies, he's actually murdered, and he tells Charm she needs to figure out who killed him. Well, he's got a whole bunch of sons that are very crazy, and so she's trying to survive all of his sons as they fight for the kingdom, and also figure out who killed the emperor. The aspect of this book that's really intriguing, besides the fact that she's like able to construct things out of bones, is that the main like magic power of the people in this kingdom is a psychic ability, and the psychic ability tends to drive people kind of crazy, unless they get like this mental device put in this device put in their head that regulates their mental whatever. Unfortunately, that device can also be used for mind control, which is what the emperor has been using it for. So this was a weird one, and it was a really intriguing blend of like, it almost had like a steampunk feel to it at parts because there's like some alchemy going on, and then there's fantasy elements because you have this whole kingdom kind of under duress, and you've got this weird like psychic magic stuff going on. It was very fascinating. The reason I didn't give it 5 stars is I didn't like how it wrapped up in the end. I just felt like it was really cool, and then the last like third got super rushed feeling, and I don't think this is part of a series, but I'm thinking maybe it should have been part of a series, and you could have like unveiled the end a little bit at a more reasonable place. It made a little bit more sense, but this was a 5-star read for me up until that last like third, and then I got a little disappointed in it, but it's still. So I ended up getting 4 or 5 stars, and then, as I said, it bumped up to 4.5 stars, and that's because I just keep thinking about it a lot. Like, obviously, it was good enough that it really made me think about things, and I keep thinking about it a lot. So then when I was writing my review this week to post on my blog, I was just like, yeah, this is probably more of a 4.5 star. It was just so interesting the way everything was put together. And then, I wasn't super fond of how it all wrapped up. It was okay, but yeah, it's a good one. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, weird, dark fantasy, The Bone Orchard was very good and very creative. So those are the 2 books I read in February that I gave 4.5 stars for. There really wasn't anything I gave 5 stars to. As I said, I did get to the end of February here. I have read a couple books that I really enjoyed, but they will be part of my best of March. So yeah, just have to wait for that, I guess. With that being said, if you had any books that you read in February that you really enjoyed, please comment down below. I'm always looking for new books to read. And I hope that you enjoyed this and that you have a great week of reading ahead of you. And I will talk to you on Saturday for a Stack in the Shelves. Bye.